Welcome to Rick Rack Ruby. I'm Laura Clubo. Today we will be making this flea market mix Christmas wreath ornament from a jelly roll strip. It's fun and easy, so let's get started. To make the flea market wreath ornaments, we're going to start with a jelly roll strip. I've done this technique before, but hopefully I will be able to add something new to give it a little bit different look. I'm cutting the strip in half and then I'm removing the selvages. And I'm going to use this, it's like a shower curtain ring. They come from the dollar store. They have all sorts of different varieties of these, and they look a little different, connect a little different, and so you'll have to sort of tailor the project to your own specific size of ring. But I'm going to fold this in half and pin along the open edge and then stitch down the center. I've already determined exactly on my machine where I have to stitch to make the right size opening to insert this ring. It's about 1/2 inch to the right of the needle on my machine. So anyway, I'm going to pin along this edge and then stitch down the center about 1/2 inch on my machine for this size of ring. And you'll have to figure it out for your ring just by sort of put the end in and kind of figure it out. And I'll be right back. Okay, these are sewn, so I'm removing the pins and I'm going to slide this onto the shower curtain ring. I'm going to make 2 of these. We'll see if we can make them, you know, similar but a little different. So I just insert the end of the ring and just push the whole tube onto the curtain. Now I'm to the end, and so I'm going to snap that in and kind of push the gathers over that little join there. And which side do I want? I think I'll choose this side to be the front, and let me repeat for this one. I'm going to use this gold metallic and white baker's twine for the hanging loop, and I want to do the hanging loop first. Here I can feel, here's the little join for the ring, and I want that to be at 4 o'clock. And this one too, so it's right here. So I want to get this hanging loop in right away so that I can maintain. It's really easy to spin the wreath around accidentally and wind up with the raw edges of the fabric exposed, and I don't want that. There it is, okay. So I don't want that to be, you know, dead center or something. I want it to be right at 4 o'clock. And in order to maintain that, I'm going to go ahead and put the hanging loop right here at the top at 12 o'clock. I hope you are intrigued by all these little doodads that I have up here. I wanted to give a real flea market feel to this design, and so I just pulled out a bunch of random embellishments. Not too random, because I've already made 10 of these, so I know exactly where I'm going, but I did want to give it a flea market feel. So we're going to start with the classic metallic rickrack and a little piece of wire, and we're going to make a bow with a rickrack and secure it with the wire. I'm going to do it like this. 3 loops on each side. 1 and 2 and 3 and we're done. So 3 loops on each side. And then I'm going to secure it in the center with this wire. That looks like the center. There should be 3 loops on each side and 1 streamer on each side. That looks good. There we go, there's the first bow. Now I'll glue that right over the ends right there. Now I'll repeat for the second wreath. There we go. Now the next thing I'm going to add is a little piece of this millinery net. I just like to tear it. This is easy to find. You can find it on eBay. Just do a search for millinery netting, and you can find it in all sorts of colors. This is sort of a neutral color. It's kind of a beige. I know you can probably barely see it, right? Well, it's there. So I'm just going to twist it in the center. I just tore off a couple of pieces, and then I'm twisting in the center, and then I'm going to glue it right there. It's kind of fun to work with this netting. It's just, I use this for a Halloween project too, a black millinery netting. It just gives a lift and a lightness to an arrangement. Here we go, one more time. I'm going to tear it, twist it in the center. I'm stacking this small little scrap, and then twist it in the center. Add some glue, and glue that right to the center. I'll do this more at an angle. And I can always trim these streamers and everything at the end. But for now, we're just gonna let it be kind of kooky. Now I have this sort of vintage gold cord. You can use anything. You could use ribbon or modern cord. So I just cut off a short length, maybe 4 inches, 4 or 5, and just tie it off. Well, now I wish it was longer, into a little knot like that. So you have a knot, a loop, and some streamers. And I'm going to kind of add that into the arrangement. Maybe I'll save that for later. Let me make a couple of these. Fold it over, tie a knot. You can make a bow. You could use any kind of ribbon or cord or whatever, and you don't even need this. You know, use what you have. Honestly, everything well, I did buy the curtain rings, the shower curtain rings, but all of these little doodads I had on hand. There we go. So I'll save those for a little bit later. First, I'm going to add these flowers. I have a couple of different colors, but since this is so colorful, I'm sure that white is going to be best. And what I like to do is kind of get a piece of floral tape. I also have some like random millinery flowers that they could be fun too, but I'm going to just start with these. I like to tear off a little short piece of florist tape before I even remove these, and just wrap the bunch just underneath the flowers. So just wrap them nice and tight. Florist tape does not have a right side. Both sides are equally sticky or not sticky. Sometimes they're not very sticky, but this is going to hold all right. And then I'm going to cut it off at about 1/4 inch. And the alternative to doing it this way is just to glue the flowers individually. But I'm just going to do them all in a clump and add them to the center of the bow. That looks good. I'll stick that right in the middle of the bow. You don't have to. You could glue them, you know, individually like a spray if you like, but I think that'll work for now. now I have some fun items. I have some buttons, and then I was using little pieces that I had cut from these button cards, but they weren't totally successful. So I tried to think of something else that had the same idea. I wanted to have a flea market idea with some text, and so I went through my postcards and I thought, well, it'd be fun to have some, you know, some scenery, like some sky and water. And then I thought, no, it'd be better to have the stamp. So there's Ben Franklin #1, 1 cent. And I think I'm going to add this in. It's just like a little shard that I cut. That might be too long. And I cut the stamp into 3 different pieces. I think I like the idea of the shard sticking out this way. So I'll stick that in here like that. Might be a little bit long. I have paper scissors. You're not going to get a lot of the stamp, but there's just sort of the edge and the impression of the stamp. Here's another little piece. I'll add this one. Maybe up here. That looks good. And let's see. There we go. There we go. Okay, now I have these little characters, this is a deer and this is a lamb. So I put a fairly generous amount of glue on the feet, all 4 feet. There we go. And then we can do the lamb on this one, just to make this one a little different. That looks good. Now let's look at these buttons. I like this kind of like a spangle with the 2 dots on one edge. And they are fun just to stick in as little accents. I think right there in the bottom will look good. Right here. That's nice. And then likewise, I'll try to put this one in the same position. Sometimes the back side of the button is more interesting, but in this case, I'm going to use the creamy side. I want to make sure that it's up and it's incorporated into the arrangement. Then I have some other buttons. I have these little, this little turquoise rhinestone button might be cute. Put that right here. That looks good. Then here's brown, which is a nice little contrast. Now finally, I'm going to arrange the loops and everything to get them just right, and I'm going to add these little metallic cord loops to the arrangement. Okay, this one's going to go right across, like this. That's nice. Okay, and just to be different, I think I'll put this one right here, right at the feet of this little fawn. That's cute. Okay, now of course I would love to continue to embellish these. I could add some bows that were tied from this cord, which would kind of bring everything together, but I'm going to stop. I decided to switch out one of the ornaments for this one because this one is just a little different, and so we didn't have two exactly the same. But it was fun to work with these different colors. So the coral and then the turquoise aqua color in the flowers. But everything else is the same. Thank you for watching my tutorial. If you're enjoying my videos, please like, share, and subscribe.